Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? Pro Football Focus use their metrics to look at breakout candidates for every team in the NFL. And their projected breakout candidate for the Saints was wide receiver Rashid Shaheed, who you might remember broke out in a big way with his first ever career touch. It sounded like this.
Now he spends most of his time in the quarterback room as a quarterback.
This is Rashid Shaheed, and Shaheed breaking inside the 10 to the 5, touchdown.
I mean, a jet sweep touchdown for his first ever touch. If I'm not mistaken, I think his first 2 touches of his career were touchdowns on big plays. He exploded onto the scene, but it wasn't just the big plays early. Rashid Shaheed, week 11 on due to injuries, became a really good player for the Saints. He played in 12 games in total, but really it was after week 11 that he started to get more and more involved in the offense as a receiver. Had 28 receptions for 488 yards in his rookie year. So Pro Football Focus says, look, injuries at the receiver position allowed Shaheed to get on the field for the Saints, and he did not disappoint. The undrafted free agent started playing a bigger role from week 11, and over the last 8 weeks of the season, he averaged 2.4 yards per route run to rank 8th out of 105 qualifying receivers. So that's not per catch. It's like obviously just anytime you're on the field running a route. So that takes into account even when the ball wasn't thrown to you. So you can tell the big play potential was there for Rashid Shaheed this past year, and it's part of the reason a lot of us are sort of tantalized. But I looked at Rashid Shaheed, and he's most commonly, I think, compared to Deontay Hardy. Comparable size, and really their path into the league. They were explosive return men, who that's how they made the team, but ultimately injury forced them onto the field as a receiver, and both developed. Deontay Hardy played in 14 games in 2019, but had only 6 catches. He was primarily a return man. But it was in 2020, the COVID year, where he really flashed as a receiver, especially in the playoffs. That wild card game against the Bears in the Dome, where I believe he was 8 for 8, 8 targets, 8 receptions, and you thought, maybe Deontay Hardy's actually a good receiver. Well, the next year in 2021, 36 catches for 570 yards. So, compared that to what Rashid Shaheed just did, 28 catches for 488. Basically, what Deontay Hardy did in year 3 is kind of what Rashid Shaheed did in year 1. And maybe Shaheed had the benefit of Pete Carmichael having seen that similar path for Deontay Hardy work for Shaheed. The problem for Hardy is he had injuries and then he had off-the-field issues. So after the 21 season, he played in just 4 games last year for the Saints and then was gone. And Rashid Shaheed is the one who ultimately took that role and now hasn't relinquished it. So I look at the Saints receivers, and it's maybe the biggest question mark on this team for me, because you could really see boom or bust potential. Chris Olave, 1,000 yards as a rookie. What do you do for an encore? Michael Thomas, we've heard Mickey Loomis and Dennis Allen say they think Michael Thomas can return to his pre-injury form. If that's the case, awesome. Do you actually believe that? Forgive me for being skeptical. I need to see it. Bryan Edwards, good receiver, rapport with Derek Carr, wants him here, okay, but really what's the ceiling there? You just brought in James Washington, another veteran guy who had some really good years in Pittsburgh as a good productive player, was injured last year, played in just 2 games with Dallas. What really is he late in his 20s? Don't know. Hopefully, he could be a really good number 2 or 3. But is he really there? Then there's guys like Rashid Shaheed. So there's tons of potential and promise and reason to believe that's all going to go really well. I could make the case for any of these guys. I could also make the case against any of them. And generally what happens is it averages out, right? The truth falls somewhere in between, which is why Shaheed is in a very interesting point this year in year 2. He's going to continue being your returner. We expect that. But what is his role in this Saints offense? And are the Saints done? Are the Saints done adding receiver help? Maybe not. There's been talk about Hunter Renfrow. We know that they want to push the ball to backs out of the backfield. They're going to throw it to Foster Moreau and Juwan Johnson from the tight end position. So how many targets, how many realistic receptions and opportunities are there? But Shaheed's big playability is the differentiator for him among the other receivers. So if you're looking for the breakout candidate, he's as good as anyone to pick because it could be any one of these receivers that could have an option to have a boom or bust type season. So getting close to OTAs, and of course, being training camp before you know it, preseason, and then the 2023 season will be up on us. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.